Welcome back to ADHD Skills with Jess and Alex. She's Jess, I'm Alex, and today we're going to be talking about moving. And Jess, why is it important to discuss moving on an ADHD YouTube channel?
Well, moving, I would say, is very important because throughout your life, whether you go to college or not college, but throughout your life, at some point, you are going to be moving. You are going to become more independent, as some people would say. Some people like to relate moving with becoming more independent, which could be true for some people, not for everyone, right? But
Mhm.
I think what we want to highlight today is how those two both go together. And when it is time for you to move on to the next chapter of your life, whether it be moving out of your parents' house, whether it be moving to college, moving some sort of school, it's important to know what's out there. It's important to kind of have some expectations. And it's
Mhm.
also important to know that certain things are okay to feel certain ways. So, for example, when you're moving, it's okay to feel nervous because it's the first time doing something. It's okay to really want to seek a support person, not someone necessarily to help you actually move, but to call up and say, "Hey, I'm having this troubling time, Alex. Like, what do I do?" Or, "Hey, I don't know how to, talk to these movers. What do I do?" Or, "Hey, I'm afraid that they're going to touch some stuff that I don't want them to touch. What do I say?" So it's definitely important to have a support system in
Mhm.
place for you. And some people think like, need to have more than one person, and just have one person you want to, but just have someone there to call as your kind of backup, right? As someone there to kind of get you when you're falling, kind of doing the trust fall a little bit, right? So think about yourself and you're feeling a little wobbly, and they're held there to push you back up because they know you can do it, but I'm here to help you. Yeah, that's really, really important.
Yeah, I like the idea of getting other people involved because there's this temptation to be independent when moving on to the next stage of whatever you're moving on to. For example, when I moved from my apartment into my townhouse, I bought these two chairs that I thought were going to be perfect for my new place. They got delivered to the garage door, and I needed to get them from the garage door into my house. And I was like, "Psh, I can do this." And I pulled them in, drug them in. And in the process, I really, really hurt my back. So I was laid up for a while. And then, of course, I've got all my stuff in this new house and it's all over the place. And I can't do anything about it because I'm laid up with a bad back. So my mom had to come over and organize a few things for me. So get some help. Try not to lift the heavy things all yourself, even the mentally heavy things.
Mm.
So, when we think about getting other people involved, how long should you have them involved? When's the right time to get them involved? It's really going to depend on your circumstances. But if you need to move in a hurry from one place to the next, hire some movers to do it. But if you can sort of take your time in moving, yeah, it might be okay to get some friends. And so knowing your circumstances and knowing that you don't have to do everything yourself is going to be really helpful.
No, definitely for sure. And going off of piggybacking a little bit off of what you said is just knowing the circumstances. And if you need help figuring that out, just ask someone. Ask someone that has already been through the process before. Because if they've been through it, then they might have some insight. So it's okay to ask for help. Definitely okay. I don't want to hear anyone hurting themselves, having their hurting them back like you, because it's not worth it. Maybe I know me, I see costs and I get a little, oh my gosh, it's like I don't have enough money for that. But in reality, I do. And if I really needed to borrow some, I could ask. But think about the pros and cons. Is it worth it? Is it worth me doing this all by myself or me having some friends do it when I could actually hire someone to help me move? And so just look at your pros and cons. Oftentimes what I do is I write down my pros and cons because I do better when I see things visually. So for me, I would write them out, the pros and cons for whatever it is. So I would take, okay, moving with ask people to move, help me move versus hiring someone to help to move. So then I'd write pros and cons for all of it, and then I would see. Then I would take in consideration money. If money is a problem, take in consideration how much it costs. And there's so many different companies out there that you can do. it just takes some time and research. It takes some
Mhm.
time just to force yourself to sit down and look up the information. But if you really want something, you'll make it happen. And so just you gotta force yourself to sit down, pros and cons, write it out so then you can see it. Then you can see this is this, and your brain isn't saying, but actually this, but actually this. Like you're like, nope, you can't trick me, brain. Oftentimes our brains like to trick us, especially when we're in high stress situations. But if you have it written down, there's no tricking because you're reading words off paper. So the only tricking you're doing is just yourself. But you can have that under control. Also, what's pretty helpful too is what I did when I was moving from my parents' house to my apartment is making a list. So once I got all my stuff moved in, I had to buy a table, a couch. I had to buy some um, pieces of furniture. So I made a list of everything I needed to buy for me. So I knew, okay, and I put it in priority. Obviously, I wanted a couch pretty soon. I wanted a table pretty soon so I could eat off of because I didn't really want to be eating off the floor, right? So you make a priority, but a lamp for my bedroom, that wasn't really a necessity. So then I made prioritize my furniture list. And then also I did an unpacking list. So did I want my kitchen stuff unpacked first? My bedroom stuff? Did I want my living room thing? So I just made that too also because it helped give me structure. And for me, moving was kind of a high stress. I'm not gonna lie, guys, moving was a high stress for me. So making the list helped me to put it in perspective, take a deep breath, step back, force me to put my thoughts out. And I just made a list on my phone, on my notes. And also seeing that checking it off. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was on top of the world when I did that. Checked off, unpacked one box for the kitchen, but that was enough. So doing those little things really goes a far way for me. So I don't know if stressing was a high stress, if moving was high stress for you, but it definitely was a little for me. But making the list and breaking it down, forcing myself to calm my brain down by sitting down and doing it, that really helped me.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say it was stressful for me, but it was a lot to do. And there's a lot to do that you don't think of. So, going back to the idea of doing some research and making lists, there are online checklists of everything you need to do when you move. The change of address with the post office, getting your utilities switched, all of these different things that you have to do. There are online checklists made for you. Some things on those checklists won't apply to you, but for the most part, it's really good to know, okay, I got to do this, I got to do this, I got to do this. It's also important to think about why you're making the list. Like I made a list too when I moved. Did I use that list? No. Well, it wasn't necessarily a list, it was a spreadsheet of everything I owned and the priority by which it needed to move in. And when I got into the moving process, I found, well, there were some things I could quickly do myself, and there were other things that I needed help with, like, moving my couch, moving my bed. And those things, yeah, I had to get someone to help me. But once I did those things, I was able to move a little quicker. And one pro tip I have for like when to move what,
For sure. Don't hear this.
move your bed quickly because you just want to get used to living in the new place, sleeping there. So I think one of the first things to move is a bed. But that's my opinion. You
No,
might
that's
think you need other things.
no, for sure. I think that's pretty good. It's pretty because then you can kind of like, the bedroom is also relaxation.
Mhm.
So you want to get that set up the way you want it. And if you only have someone that can help you move furniture for 1 or 2 days, you might, and it's okay to rearrange things multiple times.
Mhm.
If you have that help, it's okay to do that because they're there to help you. And it's
Yeah.
your own place. So sometimes you want to be a little ginger, a little bit like, no, I want it this way, this way. So take advantage of that. You're not really taking advantage. They're offering to help you.
Mhm.
Or if you hired someone, they're helping you. So ask them, hey, do you mind moving this? Or can we move this a little bit? Just because get the feel of it, because you don't want them to leave and then you have to say, oh, I don't like the way this looks, and then try to move it yourself. So just, I mean, I definitely be interested to see what people have to say. And if anyone has ever tried to use some of these, any pros, cons, if things have worked, things didn't work. So please feel free to comment below. I'm very interested to see what people have to say. For sure, for sure. It's a new chapter. It's very exciting, but also you don't have to do it alone. I think that's the biggest thing that, realizing as you get older, you don't have to do it alone. You don't have to do it alone. And know that, support isn't necessarily someone coming there to help move your stuff, but it could just be a phone call.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd very be interested to hear what people have to say and any comments people want to post. So please feel free to comment below.
Yeah. It's like Jess said, support is there if you're willing to ask for it. So if you've got comments about moving, questions about moving, the comment section below could be a great place to do it. In fact, I'm going to use stronger language than that. It will be a good place to ask and comment below. So she's Jess. I'm Alex. Thanks for watching.